Hi there, Nathan here with the Working Actor's Journey. Welcome back for week 2 as we examine Act 1, Scene 5 from Shakespeare's Hamlet, really going deep on this text. We last week looked at the encounter between Hamlet and the ghost, so you can go check out that section and all the discussion therein, and we will keep looking at the rest of the scene this week. So if you're watching this or listening to it, please feel free to subscribe. You can support the project. There are links in the description for that, and hope you enjoy the session today. So with that, I will head to the back of the theater and let you guys enjoy the series. So, all right, have fun.
Thanks, Nathan.
See you later.
I think that it's occurred to everyone at this stage of how complex, how many questions, how much information is in that scene between Hamlet and the ghost, and how many different opinions people and even ourselves might have about what's happening. I've asked Michelle and Nick to read the scene for us, just so we can be brought up, reminded about it. And then I want to open it up to a discussion about observations and things that you may have discovered. I also want to give anyone who wants the opportunity, and if not, I'll push you into it, to examine Hamlet's response to the ghost. We didn't take a lot of time with that last week, and that has some very, very important information. And I think it also, because this is called the rehearsal room, it has a lot to do with how much has to be in the actor's hands. And so I want to zero in on that. And then we will finish our this week with, of course, the Marcellus and Horatio in the scene. Sound good? So, Michelle, Nick, when you're ready, jump in.
And you want this, where wilt thou lead me, through Hamlet's response?
I want you to take it right through the soliloquy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Where wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak. I'm bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain time to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. That I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold, whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres, thy knotty and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand on end like quills upon the fretful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be to ears of flesh and blood. List, Hamlet. Oh, list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love.
Oh, God.
Revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste. Haste me to know it, that I, with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love, may sweep to my revenge.
Find the apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that rots itself in ease, or Lethe wharf would thou not stir in this. Now, Hamlet, hear. It's giving out that sleeping in mine orchard a serpent stung me. So the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know thou, noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, mine uncle!
I, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wits, hath traitorous gifts, oh, wicked wit, and gifts that have the power so to seduce, won to this shameful lust the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there for me, whose love was of that dignity, that it went hand in hand, even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But virtue, as it never will be moved, though lewdness court it in the shape of heaven, so lust, though to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. What? Soft. Methinks I scent the morning air. The brief let me be. Sleeping within mine orchard, my custom always in the afternoon, upon my secure bower thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebenon in a vial, and in the porches of mine ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor it doth posset and curd like agar droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine, and a most instant tetter baked about, most lazar-like with vile and loathsome crust all my smooth body. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, and queen at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my sin, unhouselled, disappointed, unannealed, no reckoning made, but sent to my account, with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible! Oh, horrible, most horrible! If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near, and gins to pale his uneffectual fire. Adieu, adieu. Hamlet, remember me.
Oh, all you host of heaven! Oh, earth! What else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fie! Hold my heart. And you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee! I, the poor ghost. All memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee! Yea, from the table of my memory I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past that youth and observation copied there. And thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, yes, by heaven, Oh, most pernicious woman! Oh, villain! Villain! Smiling, damned villain! My tables. My tables. Meat it is, I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is. Adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I've sworn it.
Good. Okay, good. We're brought up to death. Everybody can come on back. Michelle, I'm going to just start with you and ask you how you prepared. What did you find in the ghost that led you to that?
I was trying to follow up on some of the stuff that we've been talking about in previous sessions where he at some times is his earthly spirit, his earthly form, you know, the anger and the sense of betrayal of you know, that he and the betrayal by his queen. And so I was so my main thing was to try to break out those lines where he can't be the ghost, you know. And let's see, there was something else that and then other things to focus on the intention of getting Hamlet to do what he is bidding, even though he doesn't necessarily give him specific stuff, but enough to urge, hopefully to urge Hamlet that he will do what he's asking. So those were the two things that I was trying to emphasize.
Great. Let me just say this aside. It was one of the things that I love about your approach to things is you never hesitate to give yourself over to it 100%. And I'm so appreciative of it because I think even in rehearsal, I think even in this exploration, this play demands that. So even while we're exploring, and again, Zoom, you know, I'd love to have you all in person so we could get up and shake and walk and do something. But to understand that, and I say this about a lot of productions, I think most productions give 65% because they get wrapped up in a kind of intellectual, Hamlet is a guy who can't make up his mind, or I've got to let the audience know what this means. And it tends to sit intellectually. I find the play far more visceral than that. And I find, for me, the art of acting is to somehow have all this information and then play as if you have no idea what the next word is you're going to say. And in order to do that, you've got to be able to throw yourself into it completely. That's just, I mean, as I think I said in my email, I appreciated last week so much. And I think some of the people sitting in had written to me about how much they appreciated it too. Because what we've done is to say this ghost is so many things. We finally got past the idea that he's a white light, you know, or in Hamlet's imagination, but that he is embodied by an actor who has to approach it with all the complexity that you would approach the character of Hamlet himself. And I got a smattering of that from everybody. And that leads me to understand how complex the character is, and that we have to be careful of coming to conclusions that say he's this, absolute, he's this. So that's why I wanted to explore the scene again for a little bit to find out where you're all at, but also the impact that it's going to have on Hamlet. Because without this, Hamlet has no mission. Hamlet has no reason to go on with this play because he has an inkling about Claudius. He doesn't know this. This is why I think I may have put it in the note. But when the ghost says murder, what? But it has to be a surprise to Hamlet. It can't sit in a kind of murder area, place, and I think, Nick, I think I always push you further because you're such a stickler on punctual, I think maybe Randy and I taught you too well punctuation, all of that. But I think that it needs its moment. The audience needs its moment, but Hamlet needs that moment to understand what we're really talking about here. Now it shifts from the ghost, bad, good, whatever, to what the ghost is telling him. And you need to find those places to take the time that's necessary and understand, even though we like to believe that everybody in the audience knows this play, they don't. We're telling it to them for the first time. If you've ever worked on Oedipus Rex, this is why I think it's the greatest play ever written. It manages to take a story that everybody knows the end of, and yet when you're performing it, you still think the end could be different. And that's what I'm urging with our view of how we approach Hamlet now. We don't know the end. We don't know it at all. All we know is moment to moment to moment. Okay, enough of me. Nick, discoveries that you made?
Just like listening to it, to the ghost, and that he has to hang on every word, and he has to not like understand any of it until the soliloquy, and that's his whole like processing moment.
Taking it in. Yeah.
Because it is like Hamlet doesn't have much in response. I mean, he's, so that it's that, talk about filling a cup and then like pouring over with what you're going to say. It's like that. He has to take all of the ghost and have his journey with it by himself.
Yeah, good. Yep. I want to talk to some of the people who did it last week as well. Ben, you have any discovery or observation? Now, you've played the role, and I think you directed. But, and I know this was last week, but did you find anything that was different or new or?
Well, I'll tell you, yeah, but I mean, I didn't, but Randy sure did. And so just, getting to just kind of receive that monologue delivered uncut and delivered, by someone who knows how to do it. To me, what I just realized was what we all talk about how hard Hamlet is, and I think it's a stamina role when it comes to difficulty. But I feel like when it comes to the acting beats, boy, Shakespeare gives you a gift, because that ghost monologue might be one of the greatest things that's ever been written, and all you have to do is sit and listen to it. And I just I had a very emotional, that was very much related to my own relationship with all of you, response to that a little bit last week. But what it did is it completely erased anything that I had planned to say in response or how that came out. And I have no idea how any of that came out, because the speech for the ghost just as Hamlet says, it erases everything that comes before. And and what a great thing for an actor. I certainly did not have that experience when I played the role. I think I was so busy trying to force myself to feel a whole lot of things during that scene, that it was just lovely just to actually go, oh, I didn't need to do all of that. I could have just listened, because it's all right there in the speech. And I found that to be really a fairly profound. It was hard because no one. My poor wife works very long hours, and I wanted to talk to her about it so badly when she got home, and she was like, falling asleep as I'm trying to. No, but you don't understand. But it was that was what my takeaway was, just how much Shakespeare gives you. In comparison to some of the other, even some of the other really big roles, where I do feel like you have to create more out of thin air in a way, and Richard III or something, where you just never get to stop and no one else gets to talk. But in this one, you get the ghost gets to charge it all up for you. So I've said the same thing about 4 times. I'll wrap up my thought.
That's great. It is great. And I think that you, again, what we're adding to all of this is partnership in acting. So many people do the homework, come in and say, this is who I'm going to be as Hamlet. And the communication between the two actors somehow disappears. I mean, the director makes it look like, okay, they're on the same page, because the director is going to put some kind of concept on it and say, here's the idea I want you to do. But partnership for me, I believe the only truth on stage is the truth between two actors or one actor and more. And that doesn't, and listen, I come from a research background where I can tell you if, and but, and what they all mean. It goes out the window when performance takes place, because I have to believe that the two people who are engaged with each other are believable, that they are living off of each other. And I think I think, Ben, what you're saying about that, taking it off of Randy, and I can probably say for Randy that he took it off of you. And again, Zoom is the hardest place to do that. But I think we are getting better at, we may be a kind of Zoom example, who knows, but I think we're getting better at it. Michelle, you're going to say something?
Yeah, one thing that if I would do it again, that I would want to play with more would be, because the language is so strong, having the ghost come up with those words. They're not a rehearsed speech. And the one place where I felt that I was able to do that a little was on the line, "Thus was I sleeping by a brother's hand." So, and that I thought was, for me, was, I thought, the most powerful for me as an actor in that. Yeah, it's just just something I think I have to work on in general as an actor, is to get some of the spontaneity, the thoughts.
Yes, and I understand that completely. And one of the things that when I coach, I try to, and sometimes I'm not successful at all, but is to instill in actors, because I think actors feel they have to, this is not you, but they feel they have to be dictionaries, that they have, I mean, I've been to auditions where people will point to body part, my eyes, and, and all of us, it's like my whole mission is to spell out what I'm saying. And it's because it's Shakespeare and everyone assumes that no one knows what it is. But I believe that words have life, not merely suit the word to the action. He doesn't say the word to the meaning. So there's action behind the word and the choice of it. This is where the work becomes, I think, the kind of living with it. I think I told you the story about Julia Marlowe. 50 times she read it, her Juliet, 50 times. And then found she got to one point where she thought, oh my God, I'm boring myself to death, or gee, I'm repeating that pattern. And it was only when she got to the end of that, she was free. She was free because she had to examine every part of it. Sometimes the examination takes place and it stops there. But I think I'm going to show you all one example. I've never seen it really in a production of Hamlet, and you, some of you have more experience than me in seeing Hamlets, perhaps. Lust. Lust is a big deal. Lust, he says, and lewdness, adultery, beast.
Yeah.
The connection between it, and people sometimes glide past it as if, not that it's nothing, but that somehow it's just a sin. It's just something in there that's a sin. But that's the core of that's the opposite of the virtue. That's where he learns that if you are virtuous, the temptation of lust will never occur. And there are words like that throughout that I think just need attention for a while. The trick is, of course, as you're performing it, it's got to go away. It can't be about hammering out the words. But I think you have to do that work first. The other thing that I find more and more for me is the description of the murder. Hebanon is, you don't know Hebanon, I don't know Hebanon, and the Elizabethans didn't know the clinical meaning of Hebanon. It has a big capital H on it. It's important that Hamlet hears that. It's sounding like, he poured Advil in my ear, and that we all know what Advil is. But Hebanon, hold on to that, Hamlet. That description of what happened in the murder is the description Hamlet is going to have to hold on to when he does the play within a play. And so there's no need to speed through it. Now, I hate go fast, go slow, but I think you have to say to yourself, what is important to this ghost right now in imparting this to Hamlet? If he is going to carry out this revenge, the ghost is not telling him how, but he's giving him all the fuel he needs to put it together. Hamlet's smart enough to do that on his own. So we have to be careful of, I think, particularly that. I think the emotional part comes when, and here's where I believe that it's much more father and son than king and prince, is when the hurt, when the detestation of the brother and the disappointment of the wife, I think it's personal. I think this has nothing to do with getting out of purgatory or not. And that may be, I think I said this, it may be why he's still in purgatory. You've got to strip that stuff. You have to be worthy of the divine. You have to forgive. That's what gets you out of purgatory, not Hamlet killing Claudius. That's the ghost's personal journey. And when he succumbs to that, I think what's to me wonderful dramatically is the moment where he realizes daylight. I'm taking too much time on this. This is not what I came for. But he's got to get so involved in it that he can't help himself, and then it switches.
I think when you said we're quoting suit the action to the word and the word to the action, I think for me, it's beneficial to substitute the word intention, suit the intention to the word and the word to the intention. It's what you want to do with the word. And I think that's helpful.
I think you do have to find it for yourself. For me, what I love about is action has the word act in it. And so it makes it, and it just makes such sense to me that it's actable. That's so I'm making that connection. But I do, you have to find what, how you can make that. The important thing, when we talk about hold a mirror up to nature, people always say hold a mirror up to themselves. That is not what that line means. And it's important to understand nature and all of the meanings that go with that. It's going to come up in Lear. So if you're going to continue with this stuff, you'll see that word a lot. Okay, I do want to take, if you don't mind, I want to go to Jim, because you and I have worked, and we had talked about your, at least your original feeling that perhaps the ghost is demonic. Maybe he's not helpful. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but so address your ghost.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm having trouble with my audio. I don't have to yell. You know, this speech is so full of markings. And we heard the rumor that Shakespeare might have played the ghost when it was performed. There's no documentation I've found that proves it, but everybody says he did. And I'm wondering, when Condell and Hemmings put this together, if they said, let's make sure that our master's performance is accurately duplicated by our markings. And I'm wondering, maybe just thinking about, if I'm trying to do those markings as much as I try to do them accurately, I'm playing the part the way Shakespeare might have played the part. Now, what I did was a mess. As you know, I told you I memorized this piece about 20 years ago, and I've been working on it on and off ever since. So I do it from memory. But I didn't use the folio when I learned it. So I was a fanatic about making sure that I could take the folio and as many of the markings as I could and put them into my mind. And that dominated everything that I did. What I learned from watching Randall Kim, who's been doing these things, besides the fact that, number one, he's a great actor. Well, put that aside. Still, he has been able to show me how you can take these markings and you can use the markings, but you don't have to knock them out like I did. It just flows. And I think once again, this is the trick, is doing it from memory. Once you do it enough, hopefully I'll develop the flow. I shouted too much. I was looking at that speech again. There's no exclamation marks in that speech. And a lot of times, if you watch some of these films, they're whispering the part. I am thy father's. Why shout? I don't know. Well, for one thing, I'm not a great actor. There's one reason there. But when I watched Randy do it, it was an eye opener. It really was. And I'm thinking, by God, he's getting every one of those markings, but it's all real. It's all justified. The intentions are there. Also, I was delighted to read with Lee, by the way. Tell tell Lee that I said I was really honored to read with him, please. He's not here now.
Okay, let me stop you there. Because I'm mostly interested in what you said about the punctuation and memorizing more than anything else. Because your estimation of yourself as an actor is your estimation. I would argue it, but I don't have time. But in terms of that discovery, I think it's pretty important, because once again, punctuation is only good if it uncovers something to the actor. And it's not something you can just pick up. You know, I have so many people would say to me, oh, just teach the folio. I mean, these colleges brought me in and they give me an hour to teach the folio. And so what I end up with is people smashing the capitals, elongating but it never becomes speech. It never becomes what Morris says, just talk. So that takes time. I think you have a lot of insight into it I know you have been working on it that many years. That comes with insight. You can't work on something that many years and not learn something from it. and not, maybe what may have happened is it got stuck because memorize it, you hung on to what you did, the memorization of it, and weren't able to quite open it up yet to that new. It opened in that session we did, but I think again that's all practice. That's all ahead. I wouldn't knock again. I wouldn't knock. What I did like about what you did is you brought to the ghost the anger moments. Now, they may not have worked in all the moments, but when you were angry, you were angry. I would end up questioning how angry can you be at Hamlet if you want him to do something? But you were very believable in those moments when you were disturbed. So hang on to that. This is what I mean by everybody brought something to it. I'm going to turn to Liz because you've played the role. And I'll just say what I appreciate about your acting and listening to you do Hamlet. You come with this profound calmness. There's a kind of delivery that is unagitated. It sits in a relaxed place. And so I listen to you. You don't force me to listen to the sound of acting. I listen to what you're saying. Would you speak about your ghost first before I go any further?
Well, what I found little moments that were the 2 question marks, for example, which aren't in any other version I've ever done. So I tried to do those last week, and I loved it because it sort of suddenly burnt and purged away. And then the other one is gifts that have the power so to seduce. I mean, it's like, is he asking for Hamlet to understand better by making it a question? So I love that. The other things that occurred to me in doing it was that I did get fairly heated about especially when we got to oh shit, I've got the wrong page. The incestuous, that adulterate beast, I think that's the height. He's absolutely angry there and disgusted. And then after the question mark, he goes to the seeming virtuous queen. He's he knows what he's doing. He can do anger and then transmit suddenly a calm. Okay. And then about his pride in himself as a king and as a husband, and his, and I think the pain that he feels that he has to come through there. What else occurred to me during? I think that those were the main things that I sort of was thinking about when you were talking to the other people.
I think what
I love the fact that Michelle did what I did. I am thy father's spirit. Because it's very interesting because I mean, people are doubting that he is all the way through. So I love the fact that the ghost is aware of that and says, "Oh no, 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 I am."
Yes.
And I think it also helps in terms of convincing Hamlet that you, do listen to me. I am your father. I have that authority.
Yeah.
And what's very interesting about that at the other end of the scene, he never refers to him as his father. It's always ghost, 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 ghost. So in the moment, no, I agree with both of you. I think in the moment, that's what makes it so troubling to Hamlet. There is that part of Hamlet who in the moment is talking to his father. This ghost also knows his son. And it goes beyond, the big stuff. It goes when he says that if you don't do something about this, you are a complacent weed sitting on the river of forgetfulness. This is going to be forgotten.
That warning is so strong.
It is. And what I go back to is break my heart, for I must hold my tongue. One wonders if Hamlet didn't see this ghost, would he have just stayed silent and endured the destruction of Denmark? But my feeling is what's interesting is that the ghost has moments where you feel, God, he really knows him. He knows him. And I think Hamlet, when that's revealed to Hamlet, I love Alas, poor ghost, pity me not, because Hamlet is a pitier. Hamlet is somebody who licks his wounds. Hamlet is the guy who cries over things, and his father knows that. And he's saying to him, there's no time for that right now. Don't pity me. Listen, because you have a mission, and that mission is revenge. And it does pull Hamlet out. It pulls him out of that sense of crying over, the sadness of the ghost's circumstances. He will say it again in his soliloquy at the end. He will say, remember thee, I, poor ghost. It will come up again. But at any rate, I think that's the working through this ghost. And I have not seen that in a production. I really am so desirous to now do this play, of course. I'm sure all of you are too, because now that a window has been opened to not only the play, but to the wonder of acting. We're not Shakespearean scholars. This is not literature. This is a story being told before an audience by actors. And without an actor, I told you this is the way I feel about it. I will probably run over you with the information that I have gleaned about this. It has nothing to do with whether I can act it better. Nothing. The actor is the one who's got to bring it to life. And that's what I'm learning from this scene, that I can't even say to you, this moment, it's moment to moment to moment to moment. He's this now, he's this then. And I think we open a door on why Hamlet hesitates. Because he's so many things. He's not one thing. Randy, you're the only player that hasn't spoken, so you would like you to contribute to this?
Well, I think for me, what I was wrestling with when I did it last week was that this is a ghost who can't rest. He's not at rest, and he's still driven by his passions, his emotions. And his emotions can change at the drop of a pin. Yes, he can go calm from 1 minute and just into a rage in the next, like human beings. Our emotions are just so fly by night and can change a drop of a pin, from happiness to sadness to whatever, anger. And the ghost continues to walk the earth because he can't shake it. He's still part of this life.
Mm-hmm.
That's his doom for now, at any rate, until he can purge himself. The other thing in doing the part, besides the father-son relationship and talking to Hamlet as his father and trying to communicate with his son of what occurred and how he feels about it all, is the actor's challenge of how do you create a character plausibly that comes from the other world, that comes from a character that has already died in this life, and yet whose spirit remains alive. So what do you do? What do you need to do? How do you convince an audience that what they're seeing is not just an actor, but an actor playing someone who has died already and continues to walk the earth? Quite a challenge, I think, to create that illusion. I think this, yeah, you're right, Ben. I think what Shakespeare has written for that character runs the gamut. It's a play in and of itself almost, but it certainly is an explosive way to start a very complex, wonderful, intriguing play. The end of this Shakespeare's first act, and we're off and running. And as the play progresses, greater and greater complexity, and yeah.
This might be where I should introduce the theory of Dr. Flatter, because he points out that every hero in every tragedy is mentioned at the beginning of the play. This is the only play Hamlet's not mentioned until the end of the scene, but that the ghost is mentioned. And so he comes to his own conclusion that not that Hamlet is not him, he's in the title, but that perhaps the real star of the show, or the most, I won't say most important, he actually says the real hero, the real main character is the ghost. The ghost gets what he wants at the end of the play. He's not forgotten, even though he doesn't have scenes. Hamlet talks about him. His carrying out the revenge is through the course of the play. Now, I mean, you can quibble of, oh no, this is Hamlet. But I found it a very interesting thing because productions I've seen have almost eliminated him. And what I think is so important is what all of you have said. This is a main character in this play. And without this character, you do not have Shakespeare's Hamlet. I just put it on the table. You can be as creative as you want. You can do whatever you want. That's your artistic privilege. You're not doing Shakespeare's play. You might as well say it's an adaptation, because this character is essential to Hamlet's life in the play. And I think all of you are pointing out so much information about how do you play him. And of course, it's kind of like Polonius, what is it to be mad but to be mad? I think the only thing you can do is play it. That's all we can do. For me, that's enough. That's what I want to see. I want to see the playing of it. But I want to point out as the kind of the outside eye, and remember, that's a service I provided to Randy for 50 years, the outside eye that says, here's what I'm seeing. Here's what I'm hearing. Here's what I've learned. Is that what you wanted to do? And many, many times as we were working together, Randy would say, no, that's not what I was shooting for at all. Mm-hmm. And that's how the changes happen. I never said to Randy, oh, do it this way. Never. Because I was a young 21-year-old girl with somebody who already had an established career. And I think I fell in love with him because of the actor he was. So I would never take the position of do it this way. That would be so presumptuous. But what I was able to do, and it was a great gift to be invited to every rehearsal and every performance of every production, the Guthrie, ACT, you name the theater, I was allowed to be there. And my promise was that I would never interfere with what the director was doing, but I would become Randy's eyes and ears. Yeah.
Mainly because, as actors, we're totally alive on the stage. We're never sitting in the audience watching our own performance. That's impossible. So when you're on the stage, you're totally on the stage. You're involved in the story. You're involved in that character. You cannot see yourself. You cannot see what you're doing, hear what you're doing. So you need eyes of someone and ears of someone who you trust implicitly to give you the truth of what is going on, and what they're seeing, what they're getting from it. Are the demands of the script coming through? Your choices and your decisions. So Annie has been that for me, those eyes that you trust. Now, we should trust our directors, but very often I have found there are maybe a handful of directors who I can say I trust implicitly their judgment and how they're looking at it. But often you work with directors who are merely manipulating the actors to fulfill their particular vision. And I just take no relish in being somebody's puppet. I want to do the play. So help me, guide me to do the play, especially a great play. I want to be a vehicle for that specific vision. That's all.
Good. Wow, again, heavy, huh?
Uh,
But that is what we did. I mean, after a while, the only other option was starting our own theater, because no one was agreeing with our ideas. Everybody thought we were out of our minds. And to this day, I stand 100% behind every single thing that we did with
well,
the view of the plays.
well, and I was doing cut productions, or productions that were updated or whatnot. And I thought to myself, I'm wasting time. I'm wasting time getting to know this playwright and the play he wrote. And the minute you start giving your time to a play that's so edited or around some cockamamie idea, it's a waste of time, especially when you're dealing with great playwrights. Why waste one's life doing that? It's a waste. When you could be diving into the depth of vision that maybe we need to hear, maybe we need to see again. That's all. I just found it a waste of time. It got to the point where I said, we have to do it. We have to do them uncut. And if we fail, we fail, but we got to try to see what it is in these plays and how do they possibly work without making the game easier for ourselves by cutting this or trimming that or updating it to a point where, I don't know, it becomes absurd. Language no longer matches what we're seeing on the stage. And that the audience gets confused. I get confused. Sorry, I got carried away here.
I was going to say, right. That's both of us. So let's get back to Hamlet, okay?
Yeah, please.
What I want to do is open anyone who would like to join us, because I'd like to know those people who have listened, who have seen the play before, or who they saw last week or this week, and any kind of feedback. Terry, I do want you to address Taint Not Thy Mind, because I thought what you wrote was important to hear.
Well, I just always find that those two lines to me leap out of that scene as just so momentous in terms of guiding the rest of the play, that the ghost, who loves him, I think, as father and son, is cautious to say to him, howsoever you do this, and I'm not going to tell you how to do it, howsoever you choose to do it, do not taint your mind and end up with me here in purgatory. I want you to avoid my mistakes, right? But he doesn't know how to tell him to do that. He has no prescription or plan about it, but he warns him to taint not his mind, which I think then is one of the big factors that drives Hamlet through the rest of the play. Is how do I figure out how to revenge my father, not make my mother, not damn my mother in any way, or but how do I figure out how to do this and not poison myself or taint my own soul? And it occurred to me when we talked about the play within the play and what he must know about whether or not his father saw Claudius. He doesn't know that, right? His father doesn't tell him that. And so he's free then to invent some staging in the play within the play that will, hopefully bring it home, to Claudius that, he knows he did it. And so how is he going to do that? It's a wonderful thing to do. And I think maybe my other thought was maybe he thinks, the play is the way for me to get him to confess in public, in front of the court. He's going to leap up and say, oh, I'm so sorry, or whatever. And therefore Hamlet will not taint his own soul by killing him. He will cause him to be executed, tried, whatever, by the court because he confesses in front of everybody. It just seemed to me as though maybe this is what he's up to so that he doesn't taint his own soul. That's it.
Good. But I think that's the exploration that we're on, is that I told you last week, and I think everybody kind of agreed, that Taint Not Thy Mind is loaded. It's one of those lines that you can spend a lot of time looking at and wondering, how does he not taint his mind after what the ghost has said? But again, if you allow yourself to accept that the ghost catches himself, that the ghost is in an emotional response to this terrible thing, he realizes what he's laid before Hamlet, that's why he comes back with, I need to change that. Now, most people feel he says that, and so taint not thy mind is empty. But I don't think so. I think that the ghost is, because it's at the end, taint not thy mind, and nor contrive anything against your mother. And I would also suggest practicing with it, not any kind of commanding, taint not thy mind, nor thy will. Find a way to make it clear to him that it's important, rather than hitting him over the head with this, don't do that. Because I think he's already planted seeds for that to happen. And I think this is the ghost coming back, having to rectify that. That's me. Go ahead, Rand.
Annie, it seems to me that twice the ghost almost meets the morning, is forced to leave the stage because morning has come. The first time is he starts to speak, when the guys see him, and the cock crows, and he's forced to leave the stage. Okay, he has to go back to where he's supposed to be. In this case, he does get sidetracked when he talks to Hamlet, it seems to me, and late in the speech notices that the morning has come. So taint not thy mind, as well as don't harm your mother, comes at the last minute almost, before he is compelled to leave the stage again. But he's sidetracked so often during the course of talking to Hamlet that this is like last minute instructions before I gotta leave. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's true.
So there's
because Randy, I think he also knows. I always want to see on stage a moment of him catching himself at the end of that first speech, when he is so lewdness in the shape of, that whole set. At the end of that he sees that, oh my God, I'm spending too much time, and it's not why I came here. And that's why I say, when he talks about the poisoning, that's evidence for Hamlet. This is what happened. And I love when he says the whole ear of Denmark is a forged process of my death, rankly abused. But know thou my, he said, you know the truth. He's handing the truth to Hamlet. How Hamlet uses it and moves on, but it's something that fortifies Hamlet in his search to carry out this revenge. There's regicide and there's tyrannicide. And regicide, and this was in Elizabethan England. Do you kill Elizabeth? Do you go after Elizabeth as a Catholic because she's robbing you of your religion? Or when a monarch is doing something that is unforgivable and is hurting the people, do you have the right
to kill them,
assassinate them? And this was debated. This was debated, and a lot of people felt, and even the church, the Catholic Church, felt it was worth looking at, because she took Catholicism away from them. So whatever it is, it was being debated. So Hamlet is, oh, cursed spite that ever I was born to set it right. As a prince, Denmark is rotten. He's got to prevent this rottenness from destroying any more destruction. And he's the only one who can do it. He is the bloodline. He's the only one who can do it. No one on the outside can do it. That's his duty. However, he's been given this duty from somebody who is suffering in purgatory for the sins that he has committed in life. And I think you're right, Terry. That's what becomes the dilemma. The dilemma is you have a kind of religiosity that governs your soul and your actions to, thou shalt not kill. It doesn't say except in the case of princes, but you have a duty. as a prince to save your country.
I think too, Terry, it raises the issue of Hamlet and his conscience. I mean, it's rare to see a production where you have the prince as somebody with an incredible conscience having to wrestle with killing his uncle, killing a king. And it's his wrestling with conscience, his conscience, that is the wrestling match. It's not because he's incapable of acting. It's a difficult thing to do.
Randy, I would add to that, you're going to see that happen with Ophelia, because he has to wrestle it. Remember, he comes to the conclusion before that scene, conscience makes cowards of us all. So he goes into that scene, but that doesn't erase the love he has for this girl, the affection, whatever it is. And so again, it's a struggle of conscience. Liz, were you going to say something? I didn't mean to ignore you.
No, I'm listening. No.
Okay. So look, again, here we are with that damn ghost. I do want to look at Hamlet's response. I think it's essential. Of course, kind of stupid. I want to, what do you make of it? When he starts with all you host of heaven, O earth, what else? And shall I couple hell? Look at the punctuation. It's not one long sentence. First, he calls on, and I think this goes back, I think to Liz was saying, you have to read under that line. He's not calling for prayer. I think he's calling for the witness of what he's just seen. I think you have to ask yourself, my God, you've taken it in, you've taken it in, you've taken it in, and he's gone. And remember me. Does Hamlet need time to revive? He appeals to hosts of heaven first, and then earth, and then look at the punctuation. What else? He has a question mark. He doesn't say what else and shall I couple hell. He says what else? Now he can either take that moment to question, should I join with hell if this be? Or shall I join hell with the other two, divisions of heaven, earth, and hell? Again, I don't want to influence you, but I feel that question, what else? And that question about shall I partner hell? And that's not saying he believes 100% that it's hell, but it's an option. There's a possibility in the ghost's behavior that he may be coupling hell. We're going to see more of that as we get to the end of the scene. So that is what I want you to, your Hamlets out there, I want you to take a look at the first response. And then, as I said in my email, pluck your acting out of what is said. So hold my heart, and you my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me quick. What's the line?
Swiftly up.
Yes. That's the direction. You don't need a director to tell you. How do you act it? How do you act the pounding a heart that's going to pound out of your chest, and that your limbs are like an old, feeble, 100-year-old person who could barely stand? And then you get a grip, because you can't go further if you're in this emotional, physical dissolve. And that's why I think he says, bear me stiffly up, take the time. And then he's ready to move forward. But that first section troubles me with the acting of it. What do you do with it? How do you show somebody who has experienced what Hamlet has just experienced and needs that moment to revive, because so he can move on with enough sensibility to think? He can bring back thought, because that's not in those first few lines. Does that make sense to everybody? Who wants to do it?
For me, those first two lines is, as Randy said, the key thing here is that Hamlet is wrestling with his conscience, the most difficult question that he could have as a human being, as a good person. And for me, it's just saying, how far am I willing to go? I've got righteous revenge. I can, bring in the people of Denmark. I can, the angels on my side. Am I willing, and do I need to go even darker?
Yes, I understand exactly what you're saying, but what I want to add to it is, don't think. This is not a moment of thinking. And that, that's what we would respond. We would watch that. And I think it happens definitely after the question. But I think that for the acting of it, I think one of the things that's so troubling is you've been emotional before. Oh my God, when I'm emotional, I can't even put a sentence together because I'm so Italian. There's got to be a sense of response to that. Because if he goes right from that to the analytic Hamlet again, I think we've just blown the impact of this unbelievable figure that he's.
Let's
Do
the
it.
ghost descends through the trap door on the stage. He descends into the ground. And in Christian theology, of course, what's beneath the ground is purgatory and hell. So you watch this figure descend below the stage level, and he's going to be there for the next part of the scene when he says swear under the stage.
That's right.
So that's got to have an impact on Hamlet's response as he watches Father's spirit descend into the earth.
I agree. But again, how unnerving is that? I mean, none of it gives peace. So that, oh, you hosts of heaven, and I've heard it. Oh, you hosts of heaven, oh, earth, what else? And shall I couple hell? It's so melodramatic. But the actor has to live it. The actor has to say, what was this experience just like? And this is why, to do it again, to pluck it out without the ghost there to provoke it, or that open ground to swallow him up, it's very tough. So when I present this stuff, I'm saying, does anybody have the courage who wants to just try it? With the hell? Or if you're in a production of it, or if you're teaching a class, whatever it is, don't let go of that, because now we're going to move to when he does have his wits about him. Remember, it's going to change. And not only is it going to change, he's going to wipe away everything from his mind, not his heart, not his feelings, from his mind. Everything trivial, everything unimportant. And the commandment is going to stay in his mind, except for one thing. Villain, oh, how one may smile and be a villain. My tables, my tables, my tables, my tables. It's meat, I write it down, I remember it, I keep it here with the commandment that one may smile and be a villain. So that's the only time the brain, he's keeping that in that book of his mind. Am I telling you stuff you already know? I'm sorry. Ben, do you want to try it?
Sure. Oh, all you host of heaven! Oh, earth! What else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fine. Hold my heart. And you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee? I, the poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe, remember thee? Yea, From the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial, fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past that youth and observation copied there, and thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, yes, by heaven. Oh, most pernicious woman. Oh, villain, villain, smiling, damned villain. My tables, my tables. 'Tis meet I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I have sworn.
Good. I want to work with you just a little.
Please.
Allow that first part, as you did, to be a response to the ghost, to his exit. Give yourself time. And what else? That take time with weighing out. And shall I couple hell? Weigh it out. Don't just rush to it to end what came before. And then I want you to be absolutely intense. Hold back all those emotions and get to what you have to do. Deny, even though it's in you, deny, so that it's focused.
Great.
I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of that. You know what I mean? Focus. See what happens.
Great. Oh, all you hosts of heaven. Oh, earth. What else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fie. Hold my heart.
Hold. What I want you to do, ask that. And shall I couple hell? Fie. You see what I mean? You need to, that has to be there. And then you reject it by fie. Don't go there. I'll never be able to carry through with this if I go there. But you need to give yourself, shall I couple hell, more time.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, all you hosts of heaven. Oh, earth. What else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fie. Hold my heart. And you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee?
Oh, hold it stiffly up. You're stiff now. You're ready. Don't start to humble. Stay stiff and
grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee? Aye, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe, remember thee. Yea, from my table of my memory, I'll wipe away all fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past that youth and observation copied there, and thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Yes. By heaven. Oh, most pernicious woman.
And again, don't go there. Change it.
Yes. By heaven. Oh, most pernicious woman. Oh, villain. Smiling, damned villain.
Focus.
My tables. 'Tis meet I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark.
Talk to your uncle.
So, uncle.
As the killer he is.
So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word, it is adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I have sworn it.
Good. 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 You see where I'm going,
Oh, yeah.
because if it keeps in an emotional state, it's very hard to believe he's ever going to get anything done. But if he forces himself into focusing on what needs to be focused on and not allow, even though the emotions are in him, of course, they don't evaporate, but he's got a mission. And that focus, I think, helps. It creeps in. Oh, most pernicious woman. Stay, don't go there. Oh, villain, that's where I have to go, not my mother. It creeps in. But you got to get back to what your mission is. And that's because again, I say, the ghost knows you. He knows you're going to go after the mother. And we've seen it in the first scene. You blame her. So that you have to fight like hell to not do that. And I think it happens I think there's an exclamation at the end of Pernicious. I mean, So that's the big emotional, and you got to erase it and move on. And then you're straight to what you have to accomplish. Make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is not to blame the Zoom. It's so much easier when you have real eyes to look at, and real people, but it otherwise I can feel that it's where you start sort of strumming on your own emotional notes a little bit, something occurred to me that maybe that isn't really helpful, I think, in the playing of this. It's just something I like to, we were talking about the original production, and the idea that maybe Shakespeare played this part, and this is such a landmark new way for a ghost to, I bet the audience lost their damn minds when the ghost exited. I bet it was a rock star exit. And I think about the speaking of this speech when the groundlings are losing their minds because the ghost just slam dunked this monologue in front of everybody. And I feel like Hamlet would be, we can't do this now because I don't think the audience is going to do that, but I think this monologue might have been surfing over this, no shit, I'm going to remember you. That was the greatest thing I ever saw in my life. I do wonder if this was one of those moments, that I bet it was a hell of a opening night, the first night. I bet that was a hell of a thing to jump on.
And I want to add to it that I think it can happen again.
I bet you're right.
I think that it's all in how we play it. We love ghost stories. We love horror. We love, and as I said before, I think we only play 65% of it. I don't think we really wrestle with, oh my God, what have I just witnessed? So I think you're right. I bet it was a hell of a night. Everybody can come back if they'd like. I want to see if there's anybody else who wants to give it a try.
Annie, I had a question.
Yeah.
On the smile and be a villain. I've always taken it as like smile, but we're not going to believe the smiling because they're smiling and we know now that they're evil, that it's Claudius and that he's evil. And that's how messed up Denmark is right now. But I'm like, not, as we've been reading it, I'm not hearing that so much anymore. So I'm not quite sure what it is.
This is what I think, Nick, and this is where I think we have to go back to that Seth court scene. That Claudius spends a lot of time in that scene smiling. Make Hamlet. We know you love your father, but come on, our imperial jointress, that he, Laertes, What's the news with thee? That we have to see that smile. It has to be witnessed by Hamlet. Otherwise, it's a theory. Otherwise, it's Hamlet with a theory of smiling. I think it's seen. And I think Claudius has got to show us that in that first court scene that we saw, because and then we have to see more of it as we move forward. Claudius is a liar.
Yeah.
He killed the king. He killed his brother. He pushed you out of your rightful place. He's a liar. I hope this is all sounding familiar, but he's a liar. And he's good at it. He's really good at it. And that's what do you do when you're a liar? You don't get in there and scold and, well, I'm going to be the king now, and now I'm the king. This is easy. This job is easy for me. I'm good at it. So that's what I've always taken Smile and Smile to be a villain. I think for me, and somebody may refute it, I look for the evidence in the play.
Yeah.
Whenever I can, when somebody mentions something, I feel we have to remember this play is being done for groundlings, and it's being done for the intellectual, it's being done for court, but there has to be action. It can't all be the words. And so I look for what links just the nonverbal action to something that will become verbal later. And that's how I go on the exploration. I want it all linked. To me, it's this wonderful chain that is interwoven that gives us this play. So when the audience hears it, they can hearken back to, oh gosh, I know exactly who he's talking about. And you're going to see it. Who else are we going to see do it? Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. My honorable lord, how the hell are you? Smile. Go ahead, smile. And even Ophelia. How does your lordship for this many a day? Something's wrong here. So it's a key. Otherwise, why memorize it? Why put it down? There's a hypocrisy in Denmark. And it's being shown through people who smile in the face of all the terrible. Look how cheerful my mother looks, and my father died within. So Gertrude's at that play within the play. Oh, after she's just had a scene saying that, yes, my son is mad. Yes, I know, and go fix him up, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. And she's smiling at the play within the play. I think you're going to see you'll see that smile through the course of the play.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
I want to open it up to anybody who wants to try it, and I understand if you don't. But I don't want to deny anyone. Yeah, Liz.
I'll try it.
Good.
I'll find the right page. Sorry. I'm really sorry. What page is it? I've got it. Here we go. 7. I'm sorry to hold you all up.
No problem, no problem.
I've definitely lost the right page. I'm at page 8. I've got everything very carefully marked.
Take your time, you'll find it.
There it is. Okay. Okay. Oh, all you host of heaven. Oh, earth. What else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fie, hold my heart. And you, my sinews, grow not instant old, and bear me stiffly up. I remember thee, ay, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee? Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all sores of books, all forms, all precious past that youth and observation copied there. And thy commandments, all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, yes, by heaven. Oh, most pernicious woman. Oh, villain, villain, smiling, damned villain. My tables, meat it is, I set it down, that one may smile and smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I have sworn.
Good. Good. I think you're most successful, again, because that quality you have of calmness, you're more successful in the second half. What I would love to see is for you to blow the top off the first. And that's all about you doing that. I mean, listen, Randy once took me to a room. I wanted to play Tamara in Titus Andronicus. And he said no. And I said, why? Why can't he said, he took me to this empty space, big empty space. And he let out a Randy Kim kind of sound. And I let out, oh. And so he said, that's why. You're not doing that. But my point is, the idea of being emotional I needed so much more to fortify myself. I like to think at this stage I can put a lot more power out there, but at that stage I found my mind stopped me from my just cutting loose for whatever it's going to be. But what I think that what I appreciate is your ability with words. I understand everything you're saying, and that calmness is coming. And again, what I would do if I were directing is to just intensify that calm you have in getting this mission done. So that would be my feedback.
Okay.
We're going to do that. We have to at least read it. And I see time is just sweeping away. Randy, could you just do the soliloquy, Hamlet soliloquy?
Oh, you host of heaven. Oh, earth. What else? And shall I couple hell? Fie. Hold my heart, and you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee? Ay, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee? Yea, from the table of my memory I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past, that youth and observation copied there, and thy commandment, all alone, shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, yes, by heaven! Ah, most pernicious woman! Ah, villain, villain, smiling, damned villain! My tables, my tables! Meet it as I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I have sworn it.
Yeah.
Eh,
Okay. Good. I quibble with some of it, but we'll keep that later. But again, what I
They
do
were
love-
very strong choices.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Michelle.
But Randy, and then I want to also point out the intensity. I think that was one of the things that you really see a change in Hamlet. Hamlet now is no longer break my heart. Hamlet really now has changed, like the Hamlet we've never seen before. That's his mission. And that's why I think when he says, I'll put an antic disposition on, you're going to see that it's not this. This is the commitment. This is the intense commitment to what has to be done. How I deal in court, I'll have to do whatever I need to do. And remember, I told you the word Hamlet means fool. It translates into fool. And in the original source material, that is how that character was no ghost, but how that character fooled everyone. And he would whittle. He would whittle these they weren't let's say not arrows, but these pieces of wood. And at the end, he uses them to destroy those people in court. But people don't, they just think he's a fool, whittling away pieces of wood, and how he behaved with other people through the course. So here's Hamlet. Shakespeare knew that, Bella Forest. So I think Shakespeare took some of that and put that into Hamlet. And I think you'll start to see where Hamlet is putting on. When he says to Horatio, I must be idle. They're coming to the play, I must be idle. Or when he's dealing with Polonius. That's not this Hamlet. That's a Hamlet who's has a mission. I think you'll see this Hamlet in moments, get thee to a nunnery. I think it's sincere. I think he wants to protect her, but I think the variety, my point is the variety. But here's where it happens. Thy commandment. What's the commandment? The commandment is revenge. The word is remember me. They're not the same. The commandment is revenge. And that's why Claudius sits in the same mind that revenge sits with. Smile and be a villain. The oath is remember me on his sword. Okay? Okay, we should jump in. I hate to just stop talking. No, I'm kidding. I want to jump in to the boys coming in. Terry, you willing to read? Good. Then do you want to do Hamlet?
Sure.
Okay. And Nick, you want to do Horatio? And Sarah, can you do Marcellus?
Sure.
Okay, let's just see what we get.
Lord Hamlet,
Heaven secure him.
so be it.
Hello, ho, my lord.
Hello, ho, ho, boy. Come, bird, come.
How is my noble lord?
What news, my lord?
Oh, wonderful.
Good, my lord, tell it.
No, you'll reveal it.
Not I, my lord, by heaven.
Nor I, my lord.
How say you then, would heart of man once think it, but you'll be secret?
Aye,
By
heaven, my
heaven,
lord.
my lord.
Ah, why, there's ne'er a villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an errant knave.
There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
Why, right, you are the right. And so, without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. You, as your business and desires shall point you, for every man has business and desires such as it is. And for mine own part, look you, I'll go pray.
These are but wild and hurling words, my lord.
I'm sorry they offend you heartily. Yes, faith, heartily.
There's no offense, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick. But there is, my lord, and much offense too, touching this vision here. It is an honest ghost, let me tell you, for your desire to know what is between us, or master as you may. And now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars, and soldiers, give me one poor request.
What is, my lord? We will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord.
My lord, we will
We will
not.
not.
Nay, but swear't.
In faith, my lord, not I.
Nor I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword.
We have sworn, my lord, already.
Indeed, upon my sword, indeed.
Randy, can you do the ghost, please? You can't hear me, right?
Swear.
Ah, boy, sayest thou so? Art thou there, true penny? Come on, you hear this fella in the cellarage, consent to swear.
Propose the oath, my lord.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword.
Swear.
Hic et ubique. Well, then we'll shift for ground. Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword, never to speak of this that you have heard. Swear by my sword.
Swear.
Oh, well said, old mole. Canst thou work in the ground so fast? A worthy pioneer. Once more remove, good friends.
Oh, day and night. But this is wondrous strange.
And therefore as a stranger give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in our philosophy. But come, here as before, never so help you mercy, how strange or odd soe'er I bear myself, as perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you at such time seeing me, never shall with arms encumbered thus, or thus head shake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrase as well, we know, or we could, and if we would, or if we list to speak, or there be, and if there might, or such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me, this not to do. So grace and mercy at your most need help you. Swear.
Swear.
Rest, perturbed spirit. So, gentlemen, with all my love, I do commend me to you. And what is so poor a man as Hamlet is, may do to express his love and friendling to you, God willing shall not lack. Let us go in together, and still your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together.
Good. Okay, so that's the introduction to that scene. And I wanted to jump into it because now, of course, our analysis begins, and that will be next week's work. But you can see the questions that will come up, I think, is why is the ghost joining in? And what is the response to the men to Hamlet? And of course, what is Hamlet going through? Remember that I'll just suggest that, remember that he has come to the conclusion that there's that Denmark is full of knaves. Horatio is not Danish, but Marcellus is. So perhaps no one in Denmark now can be trusted. It doesn't make Marcellus untrustworthy, but Hamlet now has got to have suspicions about everyone. And if you notice that Marcellus is the one to say, we have sworn already. He's reluctant to put his hands on that sword. And that's the last thing he says in the scene, and then he disappears. So all of that we'll examine. Does anybody, listen, you had said that you had read something from John Dover Wilson. Our copy's in storage.
Oh, yeah.
Can you remember what it was?
Well, it's basically that it's hard to pinpoint the moment in the scene where Marcellus, and actually I remember doing this in rehearsal because we didn't know what to do with him, and that he does start to approach, and that's when Hamlet decides he's not going to tell Horatio. He was about to tell Horatio. And then by the get to that by St. Patrick's speech, Hamlet is now decided he's not going to tell Horatio yet. He tells him much later in the play, so we do know that he does tell him, but he doesn't tell him. And he plays then, and he then says that he plays with the ghost, almost for Marcellus's sake. That I mean, by he calls the ghost true penny, Othello, all these things. He's very disrespectful to this man, this ghost, that he'd obviously had different feelings for until he was with these two people. And he would be different if it were just Horatio, but Marcellus present obviously makes a total difference.
Yeah. And you know, Marcellus so often is called, unimportant. And I think he's such an important character. I think we've learned that about Bernardo and Francisco even. But I think that's the stuff that I've read too, is the suspicion that Hamlet has of Marcellus and even Marcellus' behavior. That when he doesn't want to swear on the sword the first time before even the ghost speaks, then there's also that wonderful line at the end, nay, let's go together. Does Marcellus step back? Does, again, all of this is staging, but what's the reason for the line? And I know actors have done it as if this is Hamlet just being magnanimous again. But it comes at the very end. And when he says no, it makes me think some action precedes it. All right.
Yeah.
So we have all of that. That's our next wonderful work. You all do know that St. Patrick is the keeper of purgatory, right?
No.
That's why that comes up. Okay. I just want you to know St. Patrick actually was British, and he was captured by the Irish, and he escaped captivity, and he prayed to God to show him how to convert these people who captured him to to Catholicism or to following God. And God takes him to a place that ends up being purgatory. And he says, show them this. And it's people on racks and pinned to the wall, and the ghosts talking about flames and fires. That's the description. In Ireland, I think even today, there's something called St. Patrick's Purgatory. And it's a location that a lot of tourists turn out for. So it's, just a little detail. But the important part of all that is that Hamlet accepts that the ghost's in purgatory. Even though he's under the ground, he's not committed to him being a hell. He's accepting that the ghost told him about purgatory, and Hamlet's accepted that. So at any rate, I just wanted to go into the work with that. Everybody should come on and if there's something that someone would like to say, they have 7 minutes. And anything that anyone's observed or.
I just want to say that I really actually found Randy's Hamlet soliloquy incredibly exciting. I did see the transformation from an unsure person to a person who had a purpose. And I was just riveted. I really wanted to see the end of the play now.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Brilliant, Randy.
Oh, thank you, ladies.
Anything, Jim? Oh, go ahead,
I
Randy.
agree. It
Just
was
throwing
fantastic.
spaghetti against the wall.
That's what we do.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, I said, Randy, it was terrific.
Hey, Well, thank you.
But it was terrific in '87
We know
too.
Randy's terrific, but we have to talk about the play.
Yeah, please.
Oh, is that right? Oh, I think it's a wonderful play.
Good. Thank you.
Hot take.
Thank you for bringing it back. Once again, I just, before Nathan bids adieu to us, I do want to say that you're a terrific group. I mean, I think certainly that you listen, you put up with some of even the minutia that I put forth, and then you jump in and you do the work and you come up with observations. I couldn't be more thrilled. And I think Randy shares, though, we talk about it a lot, of how pleased we are and how much doing this means to us. So again, thank you all.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
and
you. Thank you.
I just want to say real quick before we go, I missed this so much. I've been busy. Thank God. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm very grateful for getting any kind of work in this day and age, but
That's
I've
right.
missed this. I've missed this.
Well, that's nice, Chuck. Thank
We
you.
hope you come back, throughout it, and we can hear you strut your stuff.
Well, let's do that.
Good.
Yeah, no, I just want to say that it's been so so exciting to hear so many different Hamlets today. That Annie, as you said throughout, that we're getting so many different moments of things that are working for each person, and just we're understanding more about this quality of Hamlet or this quality of Hamlet, that everybody's bringing different things, and just seeing the nuance and levels that that are in that speech. And Ben, I appreciate you being so honest and open about your experience playing it and just navigating that and trying to find, well, what actually is there. And now that we have the time to explore that, and I thought your reading today was great. You were giving yourself that time to try to find those levels. And what I still get so excited about and so love is that Annie and Randy, I know you probably felt like you went on some tangent there in the middle, but I love that we have two people as passionate as yourselves leading this project, that this isn't just some Sunday afternoon talk with a bunch of cucumber sandwiches and it's all very that this is a really this means something to both of you, and I think by extension it heightens it for all of us. So I really enjoy that, and I had this idea because of how deeply we're getting into this play. It almost feels like we're this is becoming like a primer for directors, that any one of us could go off and direct this play because we're understanding so much about it. And isn't really that the question? Is Hamlet poses another question later, as we will get to, but isn't that the question here of, don't you really just understand the play that's going on, what is transpiring, and how can you communicate that to the actors?
And Nathan, any of us could play any of the roles to support our fellow
absolutely
actors.
Yes.
I mean, that's what's joyous about this particular project, I think. Nobody owns any of the roles.
Right.
You know what I mean? That we are a team of explorers, deep sea divers.
And that's what this space and time is for, is to try different things, and as actors we all know, well, let me try to go as far as I can in this direction, and I'll discover what's working, what isn't, what do I need to lean more into.
That's right.
And Nathan, to be sure, if cucumber sandwiches are prepared properly, they're quite delicious.
All right, we'll put Chuck on the catering. He'll be at the crafty table. Perfect. Great. No, this is another wonderful session. I really appreciate everybody's contributions today. So glad you could all be here. And we'll look forward to continuing to explore the scene in our next session.
Great.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
So good to see
Take
you
care,
all.
everybody.